Lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. It is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collections of data. So now, type a bunch of values in quotes and separate them by commas. And finally wrap the whole thing in square brackets. And here you go, you created your first list. Now each value is known as a list item. These items have a defined order and that order will not change. So if you add a new item to a list, the new items would be placed at the end of the list. Next, we can determine how many items are there in the list using the len function. Let me show you. Now, type len and give the variable's name inside the parenthesis. So now, if we print this, it gives the number of items in the list. Okay, by now we know how to create a list, but we can also use the list constructor. Let me show you. So now type list, then 2 parentheses. Now inside this, you can enter the value you want to have in the list. Again, if you print the variable, you get the list. Let me ask you a question. Have you seen the index page in the first pages of a book? So in an index page, each topic is assigned to a page number. Like that, list items are also indexed. So the first item in the list has index 0, the second item has index 1, etc. You can get any item in the list by its index. So if I print the variable's name in which I store the list and also type the index number like this, I would get the value of that index. There is also negative indexing. So -1 gives the last item. We can also access a range of indexes. For that, you will have to provide the starting and the ending indexes, like this. One thing to note here is that if I print this, the value of my ending index won't be printed. Okay, what if I did not give the starting index? Well, it will assume the starting index to be 0. So it will include all the items before the ending index. Same thing with the ending index. If I did not give the ending index, it would assume the ending index to be the last index. We can add items to a list using the append function. So if I type this list.append and enter a value in the quotes between the parentheses. So now if we print it, we can see that the new element or item has been added to the list. To remove items, we can use the remove function. So this list.remove and then the item you want to remove in parentheses. If you want to clear the whole list, we can use the clear function. And to join two lists, we can use the extend function. So here I have 2 lists and I will extend the first list with the values of the second. Tuples are almost same as list, but the difference between lists and tuples are lists are changeable, but tuples are unchangeable or immutable. Tuples are written with parentheses, whereas lists are written with square brackets. So whatever we saw in the lists can be applied to tuples. Like we can find the number of items in a tuple with the len function. We can also create tuples with the tuple constructor. And to access the items in the tuples, we can use the indexing concept we saw earlier for lists. And to join 2 tuples, we can't use the extend function. So we use the arithmetic plus symbol, and to multiply, we can use the star symbol.